and Ella Wheeler Wilcox, Treasury. From Poems of Passion, a waltz quadrille. The band was playing a waltz quadrille. I felt as light as a wind-blown feather as we floated away at the caller's will through the intricate, mazy dance together. Like mimic armies, our lines were meeting, slowly advancing and then retreating, all decked in their bright array, and back and forth to the music's rhythm we moved together. And all the time I knew you were going away. The fold of your strong arm sent a thrill from heart to brain as we gently glided, like leaves on the wave of that waltz quadrille. Parted, met, and again divided. You drifting one way and I another, then suddenly turning and facing each other, then off in the blithe chassé, then airily back to our places swaying, while every beat of the music seemed saying that you were going away. I said to my heart, let us take our fill of mirth and music and love and laughter, for it all must end with this waltz quadrille, and life will never be the same life after. Oh, that the caller might go on calling. Oh, that the music might go on falling like a shower of silver spray, while we whirled on to the vast forever, where no hearts break and no ties sever, and no one goes away. A clamor, a crash, and the band was still. 'Twas the end of the dream and the end of the measure. The last low note of that waltz quadrille seemed like a dirge or the death of pleasure. You said good night, and the spell was over. Too warm for a friend and too cold for a lover. There was nothing else to say, but the lights looked dim and the dancers weary, and the music was sad and the hall was dreary after you went away. An answer. If all the year was summertime, and all the aim of life was just to lilt on like a rhyme, then I would be your wife. If all the days were August days, and crowned with golden weather, how happy then, through green-clad ways, we two could stray together. If all the nights were moonlit nights, and we had naught to do but just to sit and plan delights, then I would wed with you. If life was all a summer fete, its soberest pace the glide, then I would choose you for my mate and keep you at my side. But winter makes full half the year, and labor half of life, and all the laughter and good cheer give place to wearing strife. Days will grow cold, and moon wax old, and then a heart that's true is better far than grace or gold. And so, my love, adieu. I cannot wed with you. Answered, goodbye. Yes, I am going. Sudden? Well, you are right. But a startling truth came home to me with sudden force last night. What is it? Shall I tell you? Nay, that is why I go. I am running away from the battlefield, turning my back on the foe. Riddles, you think me cruel. Have you not been most kind? Why, when you question me like that, what answer can I find? You fear you failed to amuse me, your husband's friend and guest, whom he bade you entertain and please. Well, you have done your best. Then why, you ask, am I going? A friend of mine abroad, whose theories I have been acting upon, has proven himself a fraud. You have heard me quote from Plato 1,000 times, no doubt. Well, I have discovered he did not know what he was talking about. You think I am speaking strangely? You cannot understand. Well, let me look down in your eyes, and let me take your hand. I am running away from danger. I am flying before I fall. I am going because with heart and soul I love you, that is all. There now, you are white with anger. I knew it would be so. You should not question a man too close when he tells you he must go. Change. Changed? Yes, I will confess it. I have changed. I do not love you in the old fond way. I am your friend still. Time has not estranged one kindly feeling of that vanished day. But the bright glamour which made life a dream, the rapture of that time, its sweet content, like visions of a sleeper's brain they seem, and yet I cannot tell how they went. Why do you gaze with such accusing eyes upon me, dear? Is it so very strange that hearts, like all thing underneath God's skies, should sometimes feel the influence of change? The birds, the flowers, the foliage of trees, the stars which seem so fixed and so sublime, vast continents and the eternal seas, all these do change with ever-changing time. The face our mirror shows us year on year is not the same, our dearest aim or need, our lightest thought or feeling, hope or fear, all the law of alternation heed. How can we ask the human heart to stay content with fancies of youth's earliest hours? The year outgrows the violets of May, although maybe there are no fairer flowers, and life may hold no sweeter love than this, which lies so cold, so voiceless, and so dumb. And will I miss it, dear? Why, yes. We miss the violets always till the roses come. Communism. When my blood flows calm as a purling river, and when my heart is asleep and my brain has sway, it is then that I vow we must part forever, that I will forget you and put you away, out of my life, as a dream is banished out of the mind when the dreamer awakes, that I know it will be when the spell has vanished, better for both of our sakes. When the court of the mind is ruled by reason, I know it is wiser for us to part. But love is a spy who is plotting treason, in league with that warm red rebel, the heart. They whisper to me that the king is cruel, that his reign is wicked, his law a sin, and every word they utter is fuel to the flame that smolders within. And on nights like this, when my blood runs riot with the fever of youth and its mad desires, when my brain in vain bids my heart be quiet, when my breast seems the center of lava fires, oh, then is the time when I most miss you. And I swear by the stars and my soul and say that I will have you, and I will hold you, and I will kiss you, though the whole world stands in the way. And like communist, as mad as disloyal, my fierce emotions roam out of their lair. They hate King Reason for being royal. They would fire his castle and burn him there. Oh, love, they would clasp you and crush you and kill you in the insurrection of uncontrol. Across the miles does this wild war thrill you that is raging in my soul. Conversion. I have lived this life as the skeptic lives it. I have said the sweetness was less than the gall, praising nor cursing the hand that gives it. I have drifted aimlessly through it all. I have scoffed at the tale of so-called heaven. I have laughed at the thought of a supreme friend. I have said that it only to a man was given to live, to endure, and to die was the end. But now I know that a good God reigneth, generous-hearted and kind and true, since unto a worm like me he deigneth to send so royal a gift as you. Bright as a star you gleam on my bosom, sweet as a rose that the wild bee sips, and I know my own, my beautiful blossom, that none but a god could mold such lips. And I believe, in the fullest measure, that ever a strong man's heart could hold, in all the tales of heavenly pleasure my poets sung, or by prophets told. For in the joy of your shy, sweet kisses, your pulsing touch, and your languid sigh, I am filled and thrilled with better blisses than ever reclaimed for the souls on high. And now I have faith in all the stories told of the beauties of unseen lands, of royal splendors and marvelous glories, and of the golden city not made with hands, for the silken beauty of falling tresses, of lips all dewy and cheeks aglow with what the mind in half-trance guesses of the twin perfection of drifts of snow, of limbs like marble, of thigh and shoulder, carved like a statue in high relief. These, as the eyes and the thoughts grow bolder, leave no room for an unbelief. So my lady, my queen, most royal, my skepticism has passed away. If you are true to me, true and loyal, I will believe till the judgment day. Delilah. In the midnight of darkness and terror, when I would grope nearer to God, with my back to a record of error, and the highway of sin I've trod, there come to me shapes I would banish, the shapes of the deeds I have done, and I pray and I plead till they vanish, all vanish and leave me save one, that one with a smile like the splendor of the sun in the middle of day skies, that one with a spell that is tender, that one with a dream in her eyes, cometh close in her rare southern beauty, her languor, her indolent grace, and my soul turns its back on its duty to live in the light of her face. She touches my cheek, and I quiver. I tremble with exquisite pains. She sighs like an overcharged river. My blood rushes on through my veins. She smiles, and in mad tiger fashion, as a she-tiger fondles her own, I clasp her with fierceness and passion, and kiss her with shudder and groan. Once more, in our love's sweet beginning, I put away God and the world. Once more, in the joys of our sinning, or the hopes of eternity hurled. There is nothing my soul lacks or misses as I clasp the dream shape to my breast. In the passion and pain of her kisses, life blooms to its richest best. O ghost of dead sin, unrelenting, go back to the dust and the sod, too dear and too sweet for repenting. Ye stand between me and my God. If I by the throne should behold you, smiling up with those eyes loved so well, close, close in my arms I would fold you, and drop with you down to sweet hell. Desolation. I think that the bitterest sorrow or pain of love unrequited or cold death's woe is sweet compared to that hour when we know that some grand passion is on the wane, when we see that the glory and the glow and the grace which lent a splendor to night and day are surely fading and showing the gray and dull groundwork of the commonplace. When fond expression on dull ears fall, when the hands clasp calmly without one thrill, when we cannot muster by force of will the old emotions that came at call, when the dream has vanished we fain would keep, when the heart like a watch runs out of gear, and all the savor goes out of the year. Oh, then it is time, if we could, to weep. But no tears soften this dull, pale woe. We must sit and face it with dry, sad eyes. If we seek to hold it, the swifter joy flies. We can only be passive and let it go. Earnestness. The hurry of the times affect us so. In the swift rushing hour, we crowd and press and thrust each other backwards as we go, and do not pause to lay sufficient stress upon that good, strong, true word, earnestness. In our impetuous haste, could we but know its full, deep meaning, its vast import, oh, then might we grasp the secret of success in that receding age when men were great and the bone and sinew of their purpose lay in this one word: God likes an earnest soul, too earnest to be eager. Soon or late, it leaves the spent horde breathless by the way, and stands serene, triumphant at the goal. Friendship after love. After the fierce midsummer all ablaze, has burned itself to ashes and expires in the intensity of its own fires. There comes the mellow, mild St. Martin's Day, crowned with the calm of peace, but sad with haze. So after love has led us till he tires of his own throes and torments and desires, comes large-eyed friendship with a restful gaze. He beckons us to follow and to cross cool, verdant vales. We wander free from care. Is it a torch of frost lies in the air? Why are we haunted with a sense of loss? We do not wish the pain back or the heat, and yet, these days are incomplete. Love's language. How does love speak? In the faint flush upon the telltale cheek, and in the parlor that succeeds it, by the quivering lid of an averted eye, the smile that proves the parent to a sigh. Thus doth love speak. How does love speak? By the uneven heart-throbs and the freak of bounding pulses that stand still and ache, while new emotions, like strange barges, make along vein channels their disturbing course. Still as the dawn, and with the dawn's swift force, thus doth love speak. How does love speak? In the avoidance of that which we seek, the sudden silence and reserve when near, the eye that glistens with an unshed tear. The joy that seems the counterpart of fear, as the alarmed heart leaps in the breast, and knows and names and greets its godlike guest. Thus doth love speak. How does love speak? In the proud spirit suddenly grow meek, the haughty heart grown humble in the tender and unnamed light that floods the world with splendor, in the resemblance which the fond eyes trace in all fair things to one beloved face, in the shy touch of hands that thrill and tremble, in looks and lips that can no more disassemble. Thus doth love speak. How does love speak? In the wild words that uttered seem so weak, they shrink ashamed to silence, and the fire glances strikes with glance, swift flashing high and higher, like lightnings that precede the mighty storm, in the deep, soulful stillness, in the warm impassioned tide that sweeps through throbbing veins, between the shores of keen delights and pains, in the embrace where madness melts in bliss, and in the convulsive rapture of a kiss. Thus doth love speak, old and new. Long have the poets vaunted in their lays old times, old lovers, old friendship, and old wine. Why should the old monopolies all praise? Then let the new claim mine. Give me strong new friends when the old prove weak, or fail me in my darkest hour of need. Why perish with the ship that springs a leak, or lean upon a reed? Give me new love, warm, palpitating, sweet, when all the grace and beauty leaves the old, when like a rose it withers at my feet, or like a hearth grows cold. Give me new times, bright with a prosperous cheer, in place of old, tear-blotted, burdened days. I hold a sunlit present far more dear, and worthy of my praise, when the old creeds are threadbare and worn through, and all too narrow for the broadening soul. Give me the fine, firm texture of the new, fair, beautiful, and whole. Solitude. Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. Sing, and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. The echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. Rejoice, and men will seek you. Grieve, and they turn and go. They want full measure of all your pleasure, but they do not need your woe. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, and you lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine, but alone you must drink life's gall. Feast, and your halls are crowded. Fast, and the world goes by. Succeed and give, and it helps you live, but no man can help you die. There is room in the halls of pleasure for a large and lordly train, but one by one we must all file on through the narrow aisles of pain. The beautiful blue Danube. They drift down the hall together. He smiles in her lifted eyes, like waves of that mighty river. The strains of the Danube rise. They float on its rhythmic measure, like leaves on a summer stream. And here, in this scene of pleasure, I bury my sweet dead dream. Through the cloud of her dusky tresses, like a star, shines out her face, and the form his strong arm presses is sylph-like in its grace. As a leaf on the bounding river is lost in the seething seas, I know that forever and ever my dream is lost to me, and still the viols are playing that grand old wordless rhyme, and still those two are swaying in perfect tune and time. If the great bassoons that mutter, if the clarinets that blow were given a voice to utter the secret things they know, would the list of the slain who slumber on the Danube's battle plains, the unknown hosts outnumbered, who die 'neath the Danube's strain, those fall where cannons rattle, mid the rain of shot and shell, but these in a fiercer battle find death in the music's swell. With the river's roar of passion is blended the dying groan, but here in the halls of fashion hearts break and make no moan. In the music swelling and sweeping, like the river knows it all, but none are counting or keeping the list of those who fall. The common lot. It is a common fate, a woman's lot, to waste on one the riches of her soul, who takes the wealth she gives him, but cannot repay the interest, and much less the whole. As I look up into your eyes and wait for some response to my fond gaze and touch, it seems to me there is no sadder fate than to be doomed to loving overmuch. Are you not kind? Ah, yes, so very kind, so thoughtful of my comfort and so true. Yes, yes, dear heart, but I, not being blind, know that I am not loved as I love you. One tenderer word, a little longer kiss, will fill my soul with music and with song. And if you seem abstracted or I miss the heart tone from your voice, my world goes wrong. And oftentimes you think me childish, weak, when at some thoughtless word the tears will start. You cannot understand how aught you speak has power to stir the depths of my poor heart. I cannot help it, dear. I wish I could, or feign indifference where I now adore. For if I seem to love you less, you would, manlike, I have no doubt, love me the more. 'Tis a sad gift, that much applauded thing, a constant heart, For fact doth daily prove that constancy finds oft a cruel sting, while fickle natures win the deeper love. The Duet. I was smoking a cigarette. Maud, my wife, and the tenor, McKee, were singing together a blithe duet. In days it were better I should forget, came suddenly back to me. Days when life seemed a gay mask ball, and to love and be loved was the sum of it all. As they sang together, the whole scene fled, the room's rich hangings, the sweet home air, stately Maud with her proud blonde head, and I seemed to see in her place instead a wealth of blue-black hair, and a face, ah, your face, yours, Lizette, a face it were wiser I should forget. We were back, well, no matter when or where, but you remember, I know, Lizette, I saw you dainty and debonair, with the very same look that you used to wear in the days I should forget, and your lips, as red as the vintage we quaffed, were pearl-edged bumpers of wine when you laughed. 2 small slippers with big rosettes peeped out under your kilt skirt there, while we sat smoking our cigarettes. Oh, I shall be dust when my heart forgets, and singing that self-same air. In between the verses for interlude, I kissed your throat and your shoulders nude. You are so full of a subtle fire. You are so warm and so sweet, Lizette. You were everything men admire. There were no fetters to make us tire, for you were a pretty grisette, and you loved as only such natures can, with a love that makes heaven or hell for a man. They have ceased singing that old duet, stately Maud and the tenor McKee. You are burning your coat with your cigarette. A que and que avez-vous, dearest, your lids are wet. Maud says, as she leans o'er me, and I smile and lie to her husband-wise, oh, it is nothing but smoke in my eyes. The trio. We love but once the great gold orb of light. From dawn to evidence doth cast his rays, but the full splendor of his perfect might is reached but once throughout the livelong day. We love but once. The waves with ceaseless motion do day and night plash on the pebbled shore, but the strong tide of the resistless ocean sweeps in but 1 hour of the 24. We love but once, and score of times perchance we may be moved in fancy fleeting fashion, may treasure up a word, a tone, a glance, but only once we feel the soul's great passion. We love but once. Love walks with death and birth, the saddest, the unkindest of the tree, and only once while we sojourn the earth, can that strange trio come to you or me? Upon the sand, all love that has not friendship for its base is like a mansion built upon the sand, though brave its walls as any in the land, and its tall turrets lift their heads in grace, though skillful and accomplished artists trace most beautiful designs on every hand, and gleaming statues in dim niches stand, and fountains play in some floor hidden places. Yet, when from the frowning east a sudden gust of adverse fate is blown, or sad rains fall, day in, day out, against its yielding wall, lo, the fair structure crumbles to the dust. Love, to endure life's sorrows and earth's woe, needs friendship's solid mason work below.